Hello. Hi. How are you? This is Laurel, or Vel with the Dabbling Hook. And it is the day before the, what's it called? Vernal equinox? Spring? I think it's vernal, right? I have that right? Correct me down below if I'm wrong. But yeah, spring is tomorrow. Today is Wednesday the 19th. It's my cousin's birthday. You know who you are if you see this. And I'm dropping things. And this says, this girl, wine, the needs wore off because I've used this glass so long, so many times. This was given to me by a colleague. And yeah, it's been put to good use when I drank wine a little more often. But it's the end of the day. It's 5:02, so I begged off about 7 minutes early from work because I just saw a string in my cubby and I'm like, oh, what is that? It's just a yarn ball with a string hanging. Anyway, hi. How are you guys doing? I asked that before, but how are you guys doing? It is a bright, cool, but bright, sunny, just like a hopeful weather. That's what outside looks like. It looks like hope because, you know, we need a lot of hope these days. But anyway, if you are new here, thanks for visiting. I hope you subscribe, but if you don't, I hope you enjoy this episode. And to you OGs, it's the end of the day. I have somewhere to be, but I don't know if I'm going to go there. But why am I here after over 2 minutes of prattling? This is the video for the Seasonal Yarny YouTube Hop. Got it on the first try. Spring edition of 2025. I've mentioned before that I didn't know if I was going to do it, and right now I'm saying yes because I did something for that. But who knows? What did I do for spring? Now, this is a crochet along that, or make along, because you can knit, you can, I'm sure you can sew, you can do whatever, as long as you participate, and it has to do with spring. Spring in your area, spring in what you think of as spring, colors, textures, whatever it is. And it's run by Kim of the Crafty Nomad. This is year 4. Pretty sure it's year 4. It's not year 3. 3 or 4. Anyway, we've had anywhere from, I think, 10 to 17 people participate, content creators. So if you want to participate, you can always catch up. It's only 4 times a year. This is why I'm doing this. It's 4 times a year, even though I never pick my thing until the last minute, like sometimes the very last minute. 4 times a year, you have to make a project and come and show us what it's all about. Like I said, Kim has been hosting this for the past 4 years, I think. So thank you, Kim. And the premise is you hop around to the different channels who are participating and see what they're what they have to show us. So what did I do for spring? When I think of spring, I think brightness, like color bursting. I know summer's all like color everywhere, but spring is that like burgeoning sense of hope, color, like coming out of the winter doldrums, and you just, everything is like that, like things are happening. Like I said, that sense of hope in the air, at least for me. So I think I did this last year too. Yeah, my last year's spring project. Actually, it's very similar, and it hung back there on that hook, and that's a store-bought partial cashmere sweater that I needed to steam because it had a lot of wrinkles, because it's been pushed somewhere and I was going to wear it to something, and I'm like, I'm not steaming. It was like me and an iron, like we're not friends. And even though it's a steam iron, I didn't want to go through the whole process. But anyway, I digress. My last year's spring project hung up there for almost a year. Through the end of the year? Yeah. I think so. Anyway. So what I chose to do has very similar colors. Let me go pick one up. Hold on. Very similar colors. At least 2 of the colors in there from last year. Different yarns, but the colors, because I have them, and they're like these bright pops of color in my stash. So right now, like I said, I've never known what to do for my project. I keep wanting to do wearables, and I did for spring last year. Did I do it for the year before? I don't remember, but I always want to make at least a springy top, but time. I know once I start something like that, it's going to require me to be very diligent, and one, I'm easily distracted, like squirrel, easily distracted, especially with yarn, and two, work-wise, just general life-wise, I'll get distracted. So I decided, kind of like I did with the Bake 9 I did last year, which I totally, what's the word, overstretched myself. That's not quite the word I wanted, but I did. The Make 9 is you make a grid of 9 things that you want to do, a grid of 9 boxes, and you check them off as you do it throughout the year. And I was going to do amigurumis that I have purchased or have wanted to do that I've never gotten around to. And then I figured, oh, and amigurumis will be quick. And I've been in shawl mode for the last like almost 2 years, so I did a shawl one too, and I did finish it. I had to do a little compromise on some of them, but I did finish it. But it was a lot. But I'm going to take from that and carry on with the amigurumis, at least right now for amigurumis, that I've either purchased or I've had in my to make library that I haven't done. I think I'm going to try to stick to purchases, so at least I'll get my at least 1 or 2 out of it and get my money's worth out of it. So I was going through my Etsy one first. I'm like, what have I done or not done that I have that purchased? And I came across one it was for Valentine's Day. Obviously that's past, but I'm like, we can always, you know, change it around. As crocheters, we make things our own, we change, we tweak, we do whatever. So sticking with that color theme, I will just give you a preview of the colors. So basically I have this gnome from Toy Story Pattern AU on Etsy. Her patterns seem to be perpetually on sale. They are like $1 something, $2. They're really, really inexpensive. I don't want to say, I was watching somebody, I don't know who it was, and they said that the way they phrased something kind of like brought me up short. And it's not the first time I've heard it, but at that time they said it was cheap. And I knew what they meant. It was cheap as in either on sale or inexpensive, I think is the word that they should have used. It kept playing in my head. And I've been going on for so long right now. But anyway, bear with me. So her patterns aren't cheap as in no good. They're inexpensive price-wise. Well worth your time. Well worth the small cost. And I've said before, I think it was Kim, the Crafty Nomad, who put me onto her. And when I went to her the first time, I bought like $20 worth of patterns from her. So I think maybe a quarter of those I've made so far. So I'm starting with my Etsy. All this to say, I'm starting with my Etsy patterns to see what I have, amigurumi wise, and make them. Not just for this, but I'm going to use that as the impetus for the projects I make for the hop. So hopefully I can find something that, I mean, like this one, it's a Valentine gnome. It's pink and whatever. I'm like, oh, it doesn't have to be pink. And it's that Barbie pink, which is not my favorite color at all. I can deal with the hot pinks, with the fuchsia pinks, but the Barbie pinks just does something to me. Anyway, I took the gnome and I had Basic Stitch reflective, and I think Red Heart had a reflective. I think it was Red Heart too, so it might be the same thing or similar. But anyway, it's Basic Stitch reflective, if it will focus. And I thought I had 3 colorways, this and 2 of the other ones that I made my projects out of, and then I just looked over, it was right in front of me, and even though this isn't spring color, I was trying to use up this yarn, which I still didn't finish. So this is Atomic Pink, and it's bright. There's also Volt Yellow, which is basically a highlighter yellow, you'll see. And then I forget what this other one is. It is Neptune Green. So basically it's your acrylic yarn with a string of the reflective cord running through it. It's not really a cord, it's like a tinsel-y kind of thing running through it. So the first one I did, I used a 3mm hook, and I held it just single. And once I edit, I will put a picture of the original pattern picture. It's basically pink and done in a chenille type yarn. Looks like obviously a thinner weight because it doesn't look that big. But the first one I made, this is the Volt Yellow, and I used some Dollar Tree yarn, held single, to do the nose and the hand. And this one, the pattern has the girl with the braid and then the boy with the beard. So at first I didn't want to do the beard at first. I wasn't going to, and then I did end up doing one, but I just did the braids and I just tied it with another piece of, come on, what are you focusing on, me? No? Anyway, so that's that. It's small, and I just realized when you're putting it together, you do the hat, there's a lot of sewing. You do the hat, you do the body, you crochet in the arms, you crochet in the nose as you go, and then you have to, at the end, you have to crochet the hat and the body together. So you do most of it and you leave a space before you finish off, and you keep stuffing. And I did some stuffing and I forgot to add additional, so this one is quite soft and squishy. So that's number one in Volt Yellow. Number two, I did the Atomic Pink with, I had some, and I still have balls of it there, some, I think, Craft Smart, the old formula from Michaels. I think it's the value yarn now, and it's much softer, but the Craft Smart, the sturdier one, I had some hot pink in there, so I held it with the Atomic Pink, and it's almost identical. You can hardly tell, whoops, where one ends. You can't tell the difference, where you'll be able to tell in this next one with the two different colors that I used. But yeah, so I made another girl one. I just used some Dollar Tree yarn again. Was it just Dollar Tree? It was the Just Chenille held with a Just yarn. So it's both Premier yarns, but one is the chenille and one is the regular that I held doubled, because I held this double. And I stuffed this more this time. I did change one thing. The first time I did it, I just did it per pattern, but when I did the next two, I just ended up crocheting in the back loop before I started the body part, just to give it a little distinction. And I was hoping it would let it sit better, but you kind of have to play with the bottom and then it will sit. But yeah, this is one of my, I don't want to call it pet peeves, but one of my dislikes when doing amigurumi is starting with a 4 single crochet chain. Oh my gosh, it hurts the hand. It hurts the hand, and maybe it's just getting older and, you know, everything else aches, but mentally it just puts me in a bad space. But I stuck with it 3 times and I did it, but I hate that. I usually end up like switching either to a 5 or a 6 and just, you know, going with it. But starting with 4, sometimes you just need it for that look, but don't like it. But yeah, so I made another girl. The pattern has the hair a little longer, but I didn't want it that long, so as you can probably see fluff from where I trimmed coming off. I think this one I tried to burn the ends a little, but I guess I didn't do such a good job on this one because it's just flying everywhere. This one seems to be okay, but I may need to go back at that one. But yeah, so that's number 2. And number 3, I can tell I need to work. Ooh, I missed the trim of one right here. I will There you go, snip while we're here. I didn't do such a great job shaping the beard, but number 3. So you kind of have like a family. I was going to say father. You do a father, the mother, and the baby, even though they're all different skin tones. It's fantasy world, so you go with it. But yeah, the family. So this one was the Neptune green, which is right here by itself. You can tell the difference. You could see where I held it with the other. I think the blue here was a Big Twist value. I didn't have the wrapper, so, and it was softer than the Craft Smart, so that's why, and it's in there with most of my Joann's yarn, so that's why I think that's what it is. And again, I had a partial skein. I was hoping it would be enough, but as you can see, I ran out. That's why this is just the reflective yarn held double, and so for the arms too, because I knew I was going to run out, so of the blue. So I made sure I did the arms, because you're supposed to do the arms first and then pick it up, but I was just trying to get everything done first. So I had to stop, do the arms in the doubled reflective, and then come back, finish off the hat, which I think I had like maybe like a foot left. It wouldn't have been enough to go around. So when I attached the hat, excuse me, ooh. You know when you get that like seized up dry section in your throat, and tickled? Anyway, since I ran out, I ended up doing 2 rows for the attachment. Usually it's just for the pattern, it's just 1 row of single crochet that you join together, but I wanted it to have a little more oomph to it, so I did an additional row on the brim, whereas the others just have the single row to join. I added an extra hair. And then for the beard, the nose, and the hand, I used Baby Bear in Toffee, I think is the color. I don't remember. But I doubled it for that. So his nose, I think, may be slightly bigger than normal, but it works. So yeah, you can see the different colors together, whereas the others, well, the pink one, it blended perfectly. But yeah, and his beard's a little shaggy because I did a really bad job cutting. I was trying to shape it like they said. You're supposed to cut it that way, but I cut a little too much, but character. So, spring, yarny, YouTube hop. Oh, and you're seeing a cat a little loaf cat that I worked on earlier today during lunch. The family. And the reflective yarn. So, there's that. I did just take pictures of them, so I will put that at the end or somewhere in here. And now I gotta figure out, do something with this. You can't feel it too much until the reflective thing, unless like sometimes it doesn't always it happened with this one, it doesn't always stay put. It tends to like worm out a bit. I don't know if you can see that right there. It just like it wormed out. It didn't stay in, but for the most part the others are in there. Right now with the light shining, I can see like the reflective in the pink. Not so much in the others, but it's really standing out in the pink. So yeah, that is my seasonal yarn YouTube hop spring edition gnomes. Hopefully I will find patterns that will work for summer, fall. I'm sure I have something that I can, you know, give it a little tweak to make it whatever season I need it to be. So on that note, make sure you hop around and go check out the other participants in the hop. I think last year we only had 10 or 11 people. But again, you can join it through any season. You know, this one, the last one, whenever. Just make sure, just let Kim know, because there's the hashtag that you need to use to make sure it pops up when somebody goes to search for it. That'll pop up among all the all the other participants, and I think Kim might make a playlist just of each of those. I'm not sure if each individual season or all of it, but at least there will be a playlist for that hashtag. Right. On this hump day, I hope you're having a good day. It is so gorgeously sunny out, even though it's a little chilly still, a little bit of wind, but it's just so nice to have sunlight. So, and then yesterday the city service crew came and they were clearing the overgrowth over the power lines and stuff, so it's aired out everything, so it's really nice. It's lovely. And on that rattling note, thank you again, Kim, and I hope to continue doing this for the next 3 seasons, but all depends. But I will talk to you guys later, and have a good day. Bye.